Today I want to talk about anxiety and apprehension and what the difference is. I was chatting to some young girls today and they were telling me their experiences, and I was asking them what actually do they think that I should talk about and the subjects that we talk about, and asking their opinions about what's actually bothering a lot of young people today. And some of the subjects included anxiety, overthinking. I think they were actually two of the major subjects that were bothering, and lacking confidence. Well, I said to the children that even adults lack confidence too. And another thing, when parents are going through difficulties, that sometimes forgetting that the children are observing what's going on and they don't always know what they can do. They want to help. Imagine children wanting to help the adults. One of the big things that came up was about parents talking to children and explaining what's going on, and also being receptive to listen to the children with what's going on for them too. So it's very easy to think about what they might be thinking or feeling, or developing an anxiety and apprehension to speak about what's going on, even to communicate, because they're not communicating with each other heart to heart. It's very easy that we get busy and preoccupied with what we've got to do and what we're doing. I can imagine very busy mums trying to get everything sorted out for the children, get them fed, clothed. Just dealing with everything that's related to taking care of a house, a home and a family. That it's easy to put everything down for a while and have quality time with the child, and for an opportunity for the youngsters, which are in many of our days, we who are a little bit older, we came from a generation that many children were seen and not heard. It wasn't the done thing for the children always to sit down and have heart-to-heart conversations. But if it happened, it happened. It was because the parents had the awareness. And there may be circumstances that parents share what's going on with them, a mother or a father or both. And this generation seems to be a new generation where we see a lot of single parents and a lot of men who absolutely adore their children and spending quality time with them. And something that took place, it became more acceptable for a man to embrace his masculinity as a man, but also to listen to his feelings. And it's interesting because the children spoke about feeling their feelings too. So whatever's going on with an adult, a process of that emotional process and thinking process might be going on with a child too. So I'm going to make this not an age-related video, but not specifically just for children or adults, because I believe that anxiety to various degrees can happen to anyone. When children are preparing to go somewhere, and perhaps they're sitting exams, the build up to that expectation of getting the exams and passing is really important. And whether it's laboured on from the parents or influence, or just from each other, even from the schooling, They feel it. They know that these are important. They've got to actually sit down and do them. They've got to pass. And it's interesting because I asked this small group of children, how do you feel afterwards? Fine. So it's not as if they carry on the anxiety afterwards. It's just an apprehension, an anxious apprehension about completing these exams, getting them done. And I suppose, although it wasn't said, once it is done, it's done. And the understanding that life goes on. But another anxiety is triggered, and that is, say 2 friends were close together, even new friends or people passing, and they had a really deep conversation, and then the next day one of the person that they were talking to was having an important conversation with someone else and turned their back on the person who was sharing their heart the day before. And that might trigger all sorts of thoughts of feeling possibly even rejected, even exposed. That person who's sharing from their heart and soul something that might be really important to them suddenly has had their back turned onto them, and they wonder, is that person talking about me? Or even feeling rejected because somebody else is more important, when that might not be the case at all. It might be that the other person's having an important conversation about something and everything's fine the next day. But because it can be easily interpreted, or feeling rejected and feeling ashamed or embarrassed or insecure because the person that they opened their heart to was busy with somebody else and maybe they weren't that significant anymore. Dents in confidence might come directly through words and condemnation to various degrees. So it's very easy to just cast a little bit of self-doubt in the person who feels, pushed out. And one day they were important enough to talk to, and the next day seemingly not. So we interpret so easily the signs and signals around us. And this is long before the development of any intuition. This is just basic stuff. So many lonely children at school, and they try and fit in. So if a child is quite shy and sensitive, they're really worried about being excluded and left to the side and ignored and being unable to fit in. I think that's quite understandable, actually. I think quite a few adults might feel that way as well when they're in the situation. If they're social, some people actually like being by themselves. Shy people aren't really people that put on to anyone. They just do their own thing.